Imagine you walk outside on a Saturday morning in June, coffee in hand. The light is good, the air is cool still, and you look down at your driveway, your garden path, your fence line, and there they are, again. The same weeds that were there last June, and the June before that. Dandelion pushing up through the crack in the concrete, bindweed threading itself through the garden fence for the third year running, a mat of crabgrass spreading itself out under the rose bushes like it owns the place. So you do what the country told you to do. You drive to the hardware store. You pull that familiar orange-capped bottle off the shelf. $24.99, maybe $34 for the bigger one. You bring it home, you spray. And yes, it works. The weeds go yellow, they curl, they die. And then 6 weeks later, you do it again. And 6 weeks after that. And by the end of a single growing season, you have spent $80, $100, maybe more, on a product that is mostly water, mostly herbicide they mix in a factory somewhere, and mostly a business built on the fact that your weeds will always grow back. Now I want you to sit with something. There is a formula, 3 ingredients, all of them sitting in your kitchen right now, or available for $2 at any hardware store, that does the same job. It kills weeds, broadleaf weeds, grass weeds, tap-rooted weeds, the stubborn ones in the cracks, the ones along the fence, the ones in the gravel path. Dead and brown in 24 hours, sometimes less. No sprayer required. You can apply it with a watering can, an old plastic bottle, a paintbrush. No protective gear, no gloves, no respirator, no reading the label 4 times to make sure it is safe around your children. No refill. You make it fresh each time from things that cost almost nothing and that you already understand. My name is Silas Miller. I am Amish, and I farm on land my grandfather cleared in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I have never owned a bottle of Roundup. Not one, not once, in my entire life on this farm. Not because I am against hard work. Nobody who farms like we do is against hard work. But because my grandmother showed me something better before I ever knew the other way existed. By the end of this video, you will have the exact formula, the exact amounts, the exact way to apply it, and the honest truth about where it shines and where it has real limits. Because honest is more useful than impressive, and I will not tell you a thing that is not true. Stay with me. Before I give you the recipe, I want to give you the reason. Because here is the thing about knowledge you can trust. It has a reason behind it. Anyone can say, mix these 3 things together. I want you to understand why it works, so that you are never dependent on me or anyone else to remember it for you. Weeds, like all plants, are built around water. The whole structure of a plant, the cells, the stems, the leaves, even the root, is held up by water pressure from the inside. Farmers call it turgor. The plant is, in a sense, a water-filled machine. As long as it can keep water inside its cells, it stands up. It grows, it spreads. Now, the first ingredient in this formula is white vinegar. Plain distilled white vinegar, the gallon jug, the kind you use for cleaning and pickling. The active compound in vinegar is acetic acid. When you pour acetic acid directly onto the leaves and stem of a weed, it does something elegant and brutal at the same time. It breaks down the waxy coating on the outside of the plant, the layer that holds moisture in and keeps the plant's internal water from escaping into the dry air. Once that coating is gone, the plant cannot hold its water. The cells lose pressure. The stems go limp. The leaves yellow and curl. Within 24 hours, most weeds are dead to the surface.
The second ingredient is salt. Plain table salt, or better still, rock salt or non-iodized salt. Cheap, $2 a bag. The same mineral human beings have been using to preserve food and manage land since before recorded history. Salt does something different and slower. When it is worked into the soil around a weed, it changes the chemistry of the ground itself. Salt raises the salinity of the soil water, and here is the cruel twist for the plant. When the soil water around the roots is saltier than the water inside the root cells, the water inside the plant actually moves out through the root membrane and into the soil, drawn by osmosis. The plant dehydrates itself from the roots up. It is the reverse of how plants drink, turned against them. The third ingredient is dish soap.
A small amount, any kind. It is not what does the killing, it is what makes the killing work better. Vinegar and water are normally repelled by the waxy leaf surface we talked about. The dish soap breaks that surface tension and makes the vinegar stick to the leaf instead of beating up and rolling off. It is the delivery vehicle. Without it, half your formula runs off the plant onto the ground and does nothing. Vinegar to break down the surface, salt to dehydrate the root zone, dish soap to make sure the first two stay where you put them. That is the whole science. Simple, old. And it has been sitting in every Amish kitchen in this county for as long as anyone can remember. Now, before I give you the amounts, and I will give you exact amounts in just a moment, I need you to hear something first, because this is the part that separates the people who use this well from the people who use it wrong and then say it does not work.
This formula does not know the difference between a weed and a flower. Salt in the soil is not selective. It does not read what it is sitting next to. It will stunt or kill the roots of any plant nearby, your roses, your tomatoes, your perennials. The vinegar will brown and burn any leaf it lands on, including the grass you want to keep. This is a precision tool used in the right places, not a broadcast spray across a mixed bed. I will tell you exactly where it excels and where to keep it away. Stay with me through the application section, because that is where most people make the mistake. Now here is the question I get asked every single time I show this method to someone new. They look at me and they say, "Silas, if it is this simple, 3 ingredients, most of them already in the house, working in 24 hours, why has nobody told me this before?" That is the right question. And the answer is the most important thing in this video. I will get to it. But first, here is the formula. The recipe. Write this down. For a standard application, enough to treat a good stretch of driveway cracks, a gravel path, or a fence line, 1 gallon of white vinegar, standard 5% distilled from the grocery store. If you have access to a 20% horticultural vinegar from a garden supply, it is stronger and faster. I will explain the trade-off in a moment. 1 cup of table salt or rock salt, non-iodized is best. Iodized works, but the iodine does not help anything. 1 tablespoon of liquid dish soap, any kind, Dawn, store brand, it does not matter. Mix them together in whatever container you plan to apply from. A garden sprayer, an old plastic spray bottle, a watering can with the rose head removed, even an old plastic jug with holes poked in the lid. Stir or shake until the salt is dissolved. That is the whole recipe. A gallon of this costs you, start to finish, under $3.
How to apply, step by step. Step 1. Timing. Apply this on a dry, sunny day when no rain is forecast for at least 24 to 48 hours. Sunshine matters here, and not just a little. The acetic acid in the vinegar breaks down the leaf surface, and the heat of direct sunlight accelerates that breakdown dramatically. A weed treated on a hot, sunny afternoon dies faster and more completely than the same weed treated on a cool, cloudy morning. In my experience, late morning to early afternoon, when the sun is high and the dew is gone, gives the best results.
Rain washes the formula off before it has done its work. Even heavy dew the night after application can reduce effectiveness. Choose a dry window. Step 2. Saturate the target. Pour or spray the formula directly onto the leaves and stem of each weed until it is thoroughly wet. You are not misting, you are saturating. Get under the leaves. Soak the crown where the stem meets the ground. That is where the plant is most vulnerable. Do not worry about getting it on the surrounding soil in a place where you want nothing to grow. A gravel driveway, a concrete crack, a gravel path. In those places, the salt in the soil is an advantage. It lingers and makes the spot hostile to new seeds germinating. Step 3. The second pass for tap-rooted weeds. Dandelions, dock, bindweed, thistle. These plants store energy deep in a long root, and cutting off the green top does not kill them. They push new growth back up from below within a week or two. The vinegar formula kills what is above ground reliably. For the deep-rooted ones, a second application 3 to 5 days after the first, when the plant pushes up the new pale growth, catches it at its weakest moment, and finishes the job. You can also, for a stubborn tap-rooted weed in a place where the soil is already disposable, use a stick or old screwdriver to open a small hole beside the root crown and pour a small amount of concentrated salt solution directly down beside the root. This is the method my grandfather used on dockweed along the fence. It is slower, but it is thorough. Step 4. Disposal. Once the weeds are dead and brown, usually within 24 to 48 hours, pull them. Do not leave them. A dead weed in the right conditions can still drop seed, and a weed with a living root structure under a dead top can still recover if you get significant rain. Pull them, compost the green tops if you like, discard the roots of the persistent ones. Now, the honest limits, and I will not skip these. This formula is a contact herbicide. It kills what it touches above ground. It is not absorbed through the root system and translocated through the whole plant the way a systemic chemical like glyphosate is. For annual weeds, the ones that grow fresh from seed each year, a single application to the top kills them completely because there is no established root to recover from. For perennial weeds with deep storage roots, you are killing the top repeatedly until you exhaust the root. That takes more applications and more patience than a systemic chemical. It is not a substitute for persistent perennial weed management on a large scale. I am honest about that. The 5% vinegar you buy at the grocery store is effective on young weeds and annual weeds. If you have a very established perennial weed, old bindweed, an old dock plant, a mature thistle, the 20% horticultural vinegar is meaningfully more effective. You can find it at a garden supply store for around $20 a gallon. It is a stronger acid, and it requires real respect. Wear eye protection and keep it off your skin when you apply it, not because it is chemically dangerous in the way a synthetic herbicide is, but because strong acid on your eyes or skin is simply not pleasant, and I would not want that for you.
On young or annual weeds, the grocery store vinegar is plenty. Do not use this formula between or near plants you want to keep. On lawns, it will kill the grass. On vegetable beds where salt will accumulate in the soil over time and affect your food crops.
Near the drip line of trees or shrubs you care about, where it excels without reservation. Driveway and walkway cracks, anything pushing up through concrete or pavers. Gravel paths and gravel driveways, anywhere you want nothing to grow. Fence lines and property edges. Between pavers or stone in a patio. Foundation edges where you want a clean line. Around utility posts, mailboxes, anywhere mowing is difficult. For those situations, and every farm has all of them, this formula is as good as anything the store sells, costs a fraction of the price, and leaves behind nothing you would not want your children or your animals walking through. Now I want to take a moment, because this is the part that matters, and it is bigger than a jug of vinegar. Think about what we just walked through. 3 ingredients, 2 of them already in your kitchen. The third, $2 at any hardware store. A formula that works in 24 hours on the weeds your neighbors spend $100 a year fighting. And on the other side of that fact, there is an entire industry. A company valued at tens of billions of dollars. A product line on every hardware store shelf in this country. Television commercials every spring. Advertisements in every gardening magazine. All of it built on one simple business model. Selling you something you must buy again. Because a weed does not know it has been killed permanently. It comes back. Or its seeds blow in from somewhere else. And you need the bottle again. And the bottle runs out. And you buy another. I am not telling you these companies are evil. They make products that work, within their own logic. But I will tell you this. They have spent a great deal of money making sure the knowledge in this video stays quiet, not through conspiracy, through the simpler and more effective strategy of advertising, of brand familiarity, of training a generation of homeowners to reach for an orange-capped bottle every spring without asking whether there was a cheaper, older, safer way. There is a cheaper, older, safer way. There always was. It just does not have a marketing budget. My grandmother never bought weed killer. Her mother never bought weed killer. The women in my community who keep the cleanest, most productive kitchen gardens in Lancaster County have never bought weed killer. They have vinegar, salt, and the knowledge of when and how to use them. They have what I have just given you. Nobody can make money selling you this. That is the only reason you have not heard it before. So here is what I want you to do this week. Go to your pantry. Find the gallon of white vinegar and the salt. Mix 1 gallon of vinegar with 1 cup of salt and 1 tablespoon of dish soap. Put it in any container you have. Walk out to the worst weed problem on your property, the driveway crack that has been bothering you for 2 years, the gravel path that has gone wild, the fence line you dread every spring. Pour it on a sunny day, when no rain is coming. Come back in 24 hours, and tell me in the comments below, what was the weed? What did it look like the next morning? How many years have you been fighting it? I want to know. I read every single comment on this channel. The stories you all share from your own yards and farms and gardens teach the next person more than any video I will ever make. And one more question. What is the worst weed where you live? The one that comes back no matter what you do. The one that laughs at everything you throw at it. Tell me in the comments, because your answers are going to shape the next video on this channel. If this was useful to you, if you are going to go mix that gallon this week, hit the subscribe button. Not because I need the number, but because the next video I'm putting together is about how my family keeps a garden completely free of pests without a single purchased spray or chemical. The same principle as today. Old knowledge, cheap ingredients, applied with understanding. It is the natural companion to this one, and you will not want to miss it. Until then, mix the formula, give it a sunny day, and remember, the people who built this country with their hands knew things we are only just starting to remember.